Range of your expectations of a sports bar and restaurant at the 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence. Matt Llewellyn's welcoming spot at Clinton Parkway and Castle covers all the bases, like their own handcrafted beers and all the televisions you need for great sports viewing, but it's the large, varied, and delicious menu that stands apart. From a favorite of mine like the awesome ahi tuna appetizer to great sandwiches, outstanding pizza, and truly fantastic entrees, the 23rd Street Brewery has it all. Matt and his friendly staff make it that much more enjoyable. Food until 10, fun until late. The 23rd Street Brewery is a can't-miss stop when you are in Lawrence. I was duped, and I recommend you be next. For better or worse, the ultra-realistic impression of me sits now in my wife's office to spook her on a daily basis. So what is Doob? D-O-O-B. It's the keepsake of a lifetime, a 3D-generated, incredibly lifelike figurine. 66 cameras take an image at exactly the same moment in any pose, and state-of-the-art 3D technology transforms that into exact replicas of you, anyone you know or love, a pet, whomever is close to your heart. Create lifetime memories with a Doob. Visit their Facebook page at Doob 3D Kansas City, or better yet, see their incredible creations. Visit their location down on the plaza in the heart of it at 231 West 47th Street in KC Mo. Doob, be next.
For many people, a family law case will be one of the most difficult experiences in their life. The law firm of Kenneth McRae will help you through it. Personal and effective help from Ken in concert with you will develop a unique strategy for your unique case. As Ken always says, divorce can be civil law, not civil war. Licensed in Kansas? Visit McRaeLawOffice.com or call 913-972-4765.
Looking for a truly unique escape from your normal entertainment or corporate team-building regimen? Stay tuned for an exclusive offer only for reasonably irreverent listeners. I'm excited to tell you about an extraordinary destination, the Exit Room, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Lee Summit. The Exit Room is a distinctive entertainment option that offers a cool alternative to the normal couples night out, family get-togethers, and corporate team-building events. The Exit Room is a one-of-a-kind boutique escape room catering to special occasions and corporate team-building events and is unmatched in the Kansas City metro. With 5 individually designed and varied escape room adventures, your party or employees can unplug from their electronic world, interact with one another, match wits, and ultimately escape the humdrum of the ordinary. The Exit Room adventures cross decades and centuries and create fascinating fun. I know the owners well. They are local folks, their staff is warm and friendly, their lobby is inviting and beautiful, and their adventures are award-winning. Check online. There are over 1,000 reviews and note that they are a rare 5-star ranked business. Visit their website and Facebook page, and any of my listeners who books online at theexitroomkc.com using the promo code ClinkScale19 gets 10% off any ticket purchase. The Exit Room in Lee Summit. Unplug, interact, and escape. Back on Kansas City Profiles, presented by Easton Roofing here at DannyClinkScale.com and the Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Our guest is Carl Little. If you haven't listened to some of these and you're just coming along, we do famous people, we do famous stories, we do people who ought to be famous, like Carl, although he's famous to a lot of people in the business world. I've only really sort of entered the business world as a small businessman now and running DannyClinkScale.com, and no matter where I go, before I even say anything, people will say, "Do you know Carl Little? You got to talk to Carl Little." And I'm like, yeah, I know Carl Little. But the story I'll tell about how we met was, we met through my book, and I wrote the book Leaving Cancer for the Circus, and you can still get that at Amazon and just Google it or whatever, or through DannyClinkScale.com. Just go to the book page, and you can get it that way. But anyway, when I first released the book, one day we were going to do a radio remote, and we said, "Danny will have books at the remote," and you came by. And the very first time I met Carl, he bought 10 books, and I was like, wow, Carl bought 10 books. That's pretty amazing. And then so I played in a golf tournament, and we became very friendly. And so through the first year or so, I knew Carl. He must have bought 100 books. And we'd be at a gathering, and he'd buy 10, 15 books. Or he'd call me up and say, "Hey, I need you to autograph some books," and whatever. So I kept thinking to myself, what a guy this guy is. He must really think I'm something, And then when I started going and started marketing DannyClinkScale.com and going to marketing meetings and gatherings and things like that, I came to the realization that I wasn't special at all, that you did these things for everybody. There I was thinking, Carl really likes me. He's buying all these books, and he really thinks I'm special. And the thing is, you think everyone's special. That's the point.
Well, I don't think everyone's special, but there are some special people in my life, and you happen to be one of them because your story is incredible. And those books were great giveaways to former coaches and players that I knew and business owners that I do business with now. And, being famous in the copy machine business, I'm not so sure is that big of a deal. I was inducted into the Copy Machine Hall of Fame, which, by the way, there is no such thing, but some guys put this little, I don't know what you call it.
Tribute together for me, and they presented it to me at a big meeting with 100 or so people, and everybody was clapping. I'm thinking to myself, there's no such thing, just this is a joke. And so, but the books were great for me because it's a great story. The bad part about the book is one of my competitors' pictures in the book, and I had to bring that up to Danny and say, next time, call me before you write another book. And that was the only image in the book that I didn't select, actually. And it was also of Hastings, Nebraska, which does not come off particularly good in the book. As a matter of fact, one of the stops along of my journey after I had cancer. But also in starting to, market DannyKlingscale.com and getting tremendous amount of help from people like you, I came to realize how much charitable giving you do and how much a part of your general life is. And I'll tell a little story. I was just meeting somebody to purchase a small item from them that I had met through one of the marketing companies. And we were to meet at, I think, a sort of a temporary store or place that was set up for Christmas for children. And so I go in there, and I met the lady, and she said, "You just missed Carl Little." And I said, "Oh, that's too bad. I would like to see Carl." Yeah, he brought in 100 stuffed animals and donated them. And there's like a trail of Carl breadcrumb good deeds that goes across Kansas City. Tell me about the inspiration for all these things. We've touched on it a little bit, but you just almost keep on building on it.
I have always been a giver, and I want to get something in return. And so I would hope that if I give somebody something, they'd, give me something in return, like money or something. If I sell a copier, I'm not going to give it away for free, although we will give away a couple for free at the copier drop. But I learned at a young age that not everybody has the same blessings that I have or that our family has had along the way. And about 3 years ago, my daughter, who was living in Nashville at the time, had a good friend that worked for PetSmart, and she called me and she said, "Dad, do you think you could give away a couple hundred stuffed animals?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" She explained to me that they sell the stuffed animals at the checkout counter between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they ask people to donate them back, and most of the time people donate them. So I went and met this lady, and I liked her, and she said, "Just come next week, and I'll give you a couple bags." And each bag had 40 in it, and I ended up having about 200 stuffed animals the first year. The second year, I got 1,000 stuffed animals. Well, 1,000 stuffed animals will not fit in the back end of my vehicle, so it took several trips. My wife came, we filled her vehicle, and I was taking them to places like Children's Mercy Hospital, Shawnee Mission Cancer Center, Ronald McDonald House, a lot of daycare centers, and we gave out 1,000 stuffed animals. This past year, we gave out 3,750, which took us forever. And I had people helping me deliver them, and I went to the one of the best stories I can tell you is I went to the Shawnee Mission Medical Center, Cancer Center. I'm in there to explain to them about the stuffed animals. This lady came up to me, and she said, "Hey, can I get a couple of stuffed animals?" I said, "You can have a couple of stuffed animals, and you can also have a couple of these wool hats, because we've got some gals down in Wichita that knit hats every lunch hour. We give them the wool, they knit the hats, and they send the hats to me, and I go give them to places that need hats in the wintertime, and that could be homeless people, or more than likely it's cancer patients." So I said, "I'm going to fit you with 2 hats." So we fitted her with 2 hats. These are beautiful hats. We walked out to our car together crying. We were so happy. She told me it was her last chemotherapy session, and I was so proud of her. And but my daughter got me hooked on this thing, and this year I think we'll have 5,000 animals. And I also carry around in my car what I call safety kits, and those are kits that are made by a lady and a guy who own a place over in Olathe, called Starfish Project, which is a nonprofit place. And the Starfish Project builds these 1 gallon bag and 1 gallon plastic bags with Ziploc tops on them. And they have soap and a face cloth and toothbrush and toothpaste and shaving cream and a razor. And in the wintertime, they'll put some gloves and they'll put some hats in there and they just stuff it full of tuna fish, cans of tuna fish with crackers and cookies. And you give them to a homeless person, that's a pretty big deal. I'm not going to give those guys cash because I know what they might do with it, but you give them something like that, they can use it. And so I've always said to people around me, all people can tell you is no. So when I ask for money for certain things, most people will tell me yes. I don't know why. I think maybe it's because I'm old and I got gray hair and all this kind of stuff. But so one of the deals we just did was I was just diagnosed with Parkinson's. And the Parkinson's people got me involved in the Parkinson's Foundation here in town. And they had a walk about a month ago. And I bought 36 shirts, and I asked 36 people to be part of my team, and 25 people showed up. And I walked into the event, and there were 50 people from my company here at Sumner One. And now these are people that are salespeople, and they had their kids with them. They had dogs on leashes, kids in baby carriages, and there were 50 of them. So we had 75 people there walking for me, and I had no idea. I'm thinking to myself, how do these salespeople keep their mouth closed for over a month on this deal? And they really did. And I was so blessed and so happy and had to walk away and really kind of get myself back in control. I was so touched by it. But they gave a half a day for me. And I'm early stages of Parkinson's. It's not a big deal. I told my wife about it. She said, well, when you get the shakes, we'll get you a job behind the bar shaking martinis. And then when I told my boss, Chris Gauntz, about it, he said, well, why'd you tell me this? I said, I thought you probably ought to know it. He said, well, okay, now I know it. Get out of here. Go sell some more copiers. So that's exactly what I want. I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me. So it's my birthday next week, and I've asked people to give me money and birthday cards, and I told them that I would take the money to Parkinson's and I would double whatever they give me. So we're now over $2,000. My wife doesn't know this yet, but we're going to match whatever funds we raise. We're going to match and write a check and give it to Parkinson's for help find a cure for this crazy disease.
You mentioned that you've had great success in the business world, and you've bought and sold companies and things like that. I know it's a long story, but talk about the process of building up a company and then deciding that it's the right time to sell it, or then to restarting as a person. There are challenges involved with that. I know that a couple of them have gone well. I think there's sometimes that it's maybe the wrong move. How do you decide? What's that journey been like for you?
Well, the first one we had was a company that my wife and I bought. I bought it over the phone. This guy said the magic words, which was, if you come down here and buy this company, I'll own or finance it. And I didn't have much money, so I went down to Corpus Christi, Texas. We're living in San Antonio at the time, and I bought his company. It was not a very nice company. It had a kind of a tough reputation, and had, I think, 5 employees at the time. And we took it over, and he was not a good guy, was not an honest guy. And it was a struggle getting it started, but we got it started. And I went home one day for lunch. And I said to my wife, I don't think we're going to make it down here. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, I have payroll on Friday. I don't have any money. She said, well, that's an issue because we got this developmentally disabled kid and we got this little baby, Liz. And I would suggest you eat your sandwich and get your ass back to work because you've got no choice. And I thought to myself, well, that's kind of rough. And so I ate my sandwich, went back to work, loaded up a couple of copiers in the back of a van, went and sold them, and went home that night. And I said, I think we'll be okay. I sold a couple of machines today. And I have never been home for lunch since. In 35 years, I've never gone home for lunch because I don't want her saying that to me again. I don't want her talking to me like that again. So, but we had that company for 7 years. And one morning I drove into the parking lot of my office about 6:30. I'm an early guy. And there was a car there. I'm thinking, my guys don't get in this early. And this guy got out of the car and said, hey, can I get a cup of coffee? I said, yeah, there's a coffee shop down the street. He said, no, I want to have a cup of coffee with you, Carl. I said, who are you? He said, well, I'm with a company called Denka. We bought a company in Houston, a copier company in Houston. We want to buy one in Corpus. And I said, well, this is not for sale. He said, well, I think maybe your wife wants to go back to Kansas. I said, oh, God, this guy's done his homework. So he came in the office. We had a cup of coffee together. I really liked this guy. And Shelley came in about 9 o'clock, and I said, this guy would like me to fly back to Tampa with him on the corporate plane and meet the owner of the company and the president. And she said, well, I think you should. So I did. I went home, packed a bag, and got on the plane with that guy that afternoon, and went to Tampa. Really, really liked the owner of the company. Dan Doyle was his name. And he looked at my financials, and he made an offer, and I accepted the offer. And The offer was to buy my business, give us a long-term lease on our building, and buy our house, because he said, I want you to move in 2 weeks. I said, 2 weeks? He said, yeah, I need you to run my